The Republican Party is a domestic enemy to our Constitution.
To attack our law enforcement.
Why did you do that?
Going into a dangerous situation.
Why did you call them domestic terrorists?
Please do not rely on the U.S. government for assisted departure or evacuation at this time.
So don't tell me that the greatest threat we face is Iran. That's a lie.
Today is going to be my peaceful day.
You're in the Digital Diner, and this is Katie from Minneapolis and Craig Crawford here. And we got some women's basketball going on. We're going to watch some. We're going to do March Madness. So we're going to do March Madness for the women. The women's March Madness.
Wow.
It's just now getting started, too. And we got to tip off in a few minutes here for a game between Clemson and Virginia, which kind of gets things rolling. So we're right at the beginning of March Madness for the women's.
I'm not a basketball person at all. I'm a very football, hockey person, so I don't get into all the craziness.
Yeah, is basketball very big in general in Minnesota? I don't think of
yes
Minnesota
and no.
as much of a basketball state.
Well, we're hockey for sure, like big time. But no, basketball. I mean, we've got the Timberwolves and everything, and we have the Lynx. But I don't think it's as big as hockey and football here.
Oh yeah. Well, our big news today is 10,000 subscribers for our Trail Mix Live Digital Diner. That's respectable. 10,000 subsubscribers, and
that's pretty great.
And then I went over and I got the the editorial board over here somewhere. Did I get the editorial board?
Yeah, you have the editorial board.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. Did you close it accidentally?
Probably. But the thing is, we got here are the last 5 subscribers who put us over the top, and it's an interesting mix because one of them is Adam. Now you help me out again.
Kinzinger.
Going through the
Kinzinger.
Yeah. Right there he is. He's actually subscribing now to. Maybe we can get him to come on and talk to us, huh?
Oh, that would be awesome. We can message him and see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's right there. You see him. That's the real Adam Kinzinger there. Is
honestly,
those are on our last. Those were the last 5 subscribers somewhere in this mix of 5.
So Aloka, the peace
when
dog,
we went over 10. We went over 10,000. So, yeah. But
and one of the monks.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Here's one of the monks. We got a monk. And I'm playing the monk jazz in the background right now. We did the fusion of. I did a fusion of.
You may have something on. It may have something. You should make mixes of that and make an album and then sell it as a trail mix.
Yeah, I mixed here. I've got about 40 minutes here of monks mixed with jazz. And I just think it's incredible how well they go together. Monks and jazz. Monk jazz. But yeah, here's the let's see. Now when I do this, I gotta remove that and then I add that. Yeah, here's the monk that we got as a subscriber.
Yes, and the monk dog.
And Aloka. We got Aloka too. Here's Aloka. Aloka the peace
Winterland.
Dog. We got Aloka the peace dog also. Oh, and Winter's here. Hey there, Winter. Hey there. Hello. Yeah, isn't that something? We got the monk dog. Aloka the peace dog. We just went over. We're getting all excited here, Winter, because we just went over this morning. In fact, we just went over 10,000 subscribers this morning, and right there, 10,000 subscribers. I mean, that means we're not just talking to ourselves.
Right.
Most days anyway.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I am one of those people where I go into a channel and I watch. And if I feel the need to comment, I will. But otherwise, I'm pretty quiet.
Yeah.
So we probably have a lot that have watched or have watched our shorts or whatever. And
here's
like what we're saying.
And then, here's the official celebration from our Trail Mix editorial board here. Here's that.
Break! Bleat! Break!
I mixed in the human. I've got the animals doing their sounds, but then to make it all inclusive, I've got the humans saying the words bleat, bray, and
right.
You got that? Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
So we got some business going on. We got We got
we got to talk about Secretary Noem.
You betcha. Here's the best clip. I mean, the Hill was busy yesterday.
Yeah,
they were yelling
really busy.
They were yelling at Governor Walz and Keith Ellison about that. We got to get to the bottom at some point. We got to get to the bottom of this fraud out there. How bad is it? How unusual is it?
But that's the thing. Literally, Keith Ellison laid it out. He's like, we have persecuted 300 people for fraud in Minnesota and recovered about $80 million off of what's missing. And so that's actually a pretty good recoup, considering this $9 billion fraud thing that they're all talking about. It wasn't that much. It really wasn't. Trump
that is the number that's sticking.
They keep saying $9 billion, and then Trump says 19 billion half the time. He doesn't remember what numbers he's given to anybody. So, but no, I mean, Keith Ellison came prepared and basically said it's this. What I loved yesterday is Nancy Mace, who has no room to talk about anything about autism in any way, shape, or form, tried to say that there was only 1 million people were being taken care of by the state that have autism in 2017. Now, I'm going to say this. Autism did not hit my family until 2020. And that's when a lot of people started being diagnosed as autistic because they were wrongly diagnosed as having something else in their youth. So, so of course, funding went up a lot for autism just because of that. I live in a district that is number 1 in the state. We are the number 1 school in the state for special education. And a lot of people move here because their children are on the spectrum, and their special education programs are amazing. I'm telling you, I commend these people and adore what they do for our children. And that was one thing that Walz said yesterday that made me so proud that he's our governor. Is he said, they are my kids.
Yeah.
They're my children. He's being the dad to take care of all these kids that need assistance.
And he made one argument that I can understand but kind of got twisted as people talked about it, is where he said, well, if we have a choice, there's going to be some, either we feed the kids or we and put up with some fraud, or we just let them starve and have no fraud. I mean, I kind of get that argument, but that's kind of a tricky argument to make.
But I'm going to be honest. Like when I was in high school, there was a family that that was in our school district, which was a very small school district. I graduated with 106 kids, so you can tell how small my school district was. But anyway, the mom and dad were arrested on welfare fraud. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and so I mean, I remember that happening, and they only had to go to jail on the weekends because they had their kids to take care of and stuff. So then family could take care of them on the weekends. So then, so they did weekend jail and had to pay restitution and all that jazz. But
Wow.
the whole thing is that there's fraud everywhere, but Minnesota has the least of it. That's the problem. They keep focusing on what we have when Kentucky has more Medicare fraud. Texas has more fraud. Florida, even California has a lot of fraud. You have to look everywhere, not just focusing in on little Minnesota that's been taking care of the fraud in our state since like 2018. So it's like, we can stop. We can just stop with it.
Now, what do you mean there, Winter? That sounds exactly like I would have expected from Walz. I can't tell. I can't read you there, Winter. I
Saying
can't
we
tell if
feed all the kids and maybe have some fraud, or we starve the children and have no fraud. And that's basically what Trump is trying to do. That's what this administration is trying to do to Minnesota. They stripped kids off of insurance, medical assistance.
Huh. Yeah.
And
well,
some of those kids are disabled that need that, and he can't. And, I mean, we have funding that we can help patch it, but this is something our country has been funding and helping with. And so 400,000 people have are having their payments held.
Yeah, they gotta. I don't know if they're going to make that stick for the midterms, that whole thing, but they were sure having a good time with it yesterday, yelling at Walz and Ellison. But also having a good time was the Kristi Noem. Those clips are still circulating. Here's Raskin really leaning
on what you know today, Madam Secretary. Were Renee Good and Alex Preddy domestic terrorists?
Congressman, what happened in Minnesota in those two incidents was an absolute tragedy.
Were they domestic terrorists, as you said to the country?
My condolences to their families, because I know that their lives will never be
She just filibusters.
Is that an apology for what you said?
We, in those incidents, offer as much information as we can from officers and agents on the ground in a chaotic scene that gets.
I'll repeat my question, reclaiming my time. Based on what you know today, Madam Secretary, based on what you know today,
I mean, really, why doesn't she just say, I was wrong?
Yeah,
what's wrong
I
with
was
that? Why
told
can't
that,
these
and
people
so
say that? I mean,
if she said, so-and-so told me that this is what it was, and I said it, and I'm really sorry I didn't mean to do that, instead of just totally ignoring it and just bleh.
I mean, it's a Trump thing. See, it's a Trump thing. See, if anybody admits guilt or fault or apologizes, then he calls them weak and a loser and yells at them, and that's what it's coming from. I mean, that's why these people are so afraid to all they know how to do is to just keep on lying.
Do you have Crockett going after her?
Oh, there's Howard.
Yay!
Extreme Mortman's in the house, folks. If I can find his button. Oh, there he is. There he is. we just had we just had some seats. But hello, Howard.
Hello.
Howard's in the house. Howard. We got Katie here. I got some women's basketball going on in the background. If you want to catch.
Hello,
up
Katie.
on that.
By the way, Craig, you don't need to interrupt. If you and Katie are having a jolly time talking, I'll listen, but just don't.
No. We're here for
celebrating.
It's oh yeah. Did I tell you earlier, Howard? We're at we've gone to 10,000 subscribers here at Trail Mix Live Digital.
That's
Diner.
tremendous. Terrific. Congratulations.
10,000.
And to Craig's flock and to Katie, and all who are listening out there. It's Craig Crawford has Craig Crawford. He's a credit to his checking account. So.
And I looked at who the last subscribers were that put us over the top.
And look, one of them.
And one of them is Aloka the Peace Dog, which I'm especially happy about.
And just a former senator.
That's the dog that escorted the all the monks, from Texas to Washington.
No kidding. Is that right? Really? Seriously?
Yeah. Aloka the Peace Dog. Yeah. And that's why I not only, and of course, as I have always done for the last 2 Thursdays for Extreme Mortman's appearances, I'm playing my monk jazz. There we go. That's my fusion of monks chanting with jazz.
For Craig, for Katie, Katie, it's wonderful to work with you and to be with you, and it's nice to be here. I have to tell you, I completely forgot about you since you mentioned the monks here in DC. One of the questions over the Mortman family dinner time was, well, they're walking to Washington, but how are they getting home from Washington? And one of the theories posed by I have 2 daughters. My younger of my 2 daughters said, well, I bet they're going to fly home, and so that's plausible. It turns out the next day, the Mortman family was off to a college tour. My younger daughter had looked at different colleges, and sure enough, at Dulles Airport, in security at the TSA line,
really?
Monks everywhere. There are monks.
Is that right?
The place was silly with monks all taking off their shoes, and pockets and doing this.
That's great.
The whole thing. So,
oh wow.
So there you go. And the monks go with the people movers just like ordinary human beings do, like I do.
Hi,
Jamie's here. Hello, Jamie.
Hi, Howard.
Hello.
We got Extreme Mortman in the house, and I was just going over, Jamie, the last 5 subscribers that put us over the top on 10,000, and we got one monk. We got one monk. And Aloka the Peace Dog.
And Adam Kissinger.
I think you got your TV on, Jamie.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Is that your
As long
TV
as it's on C-SPAN, it's okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure she had C-SPAN.
Actually, no, I'm on MS now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's acceptable. But there you are, Jamie. We're at 10,000 subscribers. Jamie was the first. Jamie was the first one here 8 weeks ago when we started doing this and talking to ourselves.
Yeah, I was over talking to my Chat GPT.
Oh boy.
You can really get sucked into a conversation with those things.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we were discussing Middle East history.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, they're good at that.
That's light lifting. That's right.
And then I got the editorial board lined up, Jamie, to congratulate us on our 10,000 subscribers. Here they are.
Break! Bleat! Break! Bleat!
I mean, 2 things you might notice is, the thing is cows can't count. So, I mean, they tried to put 10,000 on the signs here, but I think that's 1 million. I think they wrote 1 million on their signs. And then to be inclusive, I wanted to have humans involved. So I have humans saying the words bleat, moo, and bray here in the back.
Bray! Bleat! Bray!
Craig Crawford Morning Zoo. Right?
Yeah,
but we do have
fun with the images. I uploaded a picture of myself from 40 years ago. You would not guess how gorgeous that thing made me look. Talk about flattering.
I've seen your pictures in the day.
Oh,
now Howard, I made it. We're going to get to business here before we lose, because Howard's an actual working person. So we
oh
need
my goodness. Okay.
we need to be
The
respectful.
floor is Mr. Morton.
We need to be respectful of Mr. Morton's time.
of your time. But I made us for Trail Mech, actually for anybody, but I made this little short link because that long link to C-SPAN link with all that C-SPAN garbage on there for your link to Extreme Mortman. Well, I mean, they've just got all these letters and numbers and it goes on forever. So I made a nice short link there, Howard, that goes to your and I noticed you had something here that's timely, and then we'll move into that. You have good old Lloyd Bentsen here. I saw you pulled up on an Extreme Mortman bonus here.
Oh wow!
Yeah. This.
What did
Thank
you
you,
do
Craig.
here?
Thank you for noticing that. This is sometimes I put bonus material that doesn't make it into the podcast. There. This actually, I posted this morning. The point of this is if you or your 10,008 followers are ever asked who is the last Democrat to win a Senate seat in Texas.
Oh, we just discussed that yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, this is the end. Now this is really fun because this is Lloyd Bentsen, November 8th, 1988, incumbent Senator Lloyd Bentsen winning election to the U.S. Senate. And this is in Austin. And there's a little 2-minute video here. That's the last time a Democrat won a Senate race, and obviously the tie in Tallarico winning the Democrat. That was the prompt for this. But there's two fun bits of trivia going on here. What else happened, Craig, or any of his 10,008 followers? What else happened to Lloyd Bentsen that night of November 8th?
He lost the vice presidency.
So that is, I think that's just fun trivia.
You're right. I'd forgotten that he stayed on the ballot for Senate. Yeah. And
there was something unique. Yeah,
had a mixed night. That's so true. Yeah.
Texas had a unique system where you can run for 2 offices. Not many states, I believe, have that. But he lost the White House, but he won the Senate seat, and to this day remains the most recent Democrat to win a Senate seat in Texas. Now, okay, so let's just play trivia. Let's go 2 different directions. Let's go more current in history. Lloyd Bentsen. So an asterisk to this trivia is who is the most recent Democratic senator from Texas? So Lloyd Bentsen was the most recent the most recent elected senator. But then if you remember your history, in 1993, Lloyd Bentsen becomes Bill Clinton's Treasury Secretary.
I'd forgotten.
And yes, and he was replaced by a Democrat. So the most recent Democrat as senator is not Lloyd Bentsen. It is who knows?
Oh, I don't know who.
Bob Krueger for a couple months in 1993.
Really?
Was an appointed senator, and he lost to Kay Bailey Hutchinson in the next election. And so Bob Krueger is the most recent Democratic senator. Lloyd Bentsen is the most recent elected Democratic senator. Now, let's go back in history. Lloyd Bentsen, Craig Crawford, or any of his 10,008 followers are allowed to answer this. Lloyd Bentsen, what year did Lloyd Bentsen get elected senator from Texas? The last Democratic senator elected Texas. What year? And ready for this? Who did he beat in the general election in that year that Lloyd Bentsen became a U.S. senator for the first time?
I can't remember.
I was 7.
Anybody else?
Oh.
What'd you say?
I was 7.
Oh. Well, Lloyd Bentsen became senator. He was elected senator, last Democratic elected senator, Lloyd Bentsen, 1970 is when
I was thinking the 70s, but not as far back as 1970 itself. Oh, wow.
And he was beaten by, it's going to kill you, Craig, for not getting this. I'll give you one more chance to get this answer, then I'll tell you that the answer is who did Lloyd Bentsen beat in 1970 on the Republican side to become U.S. Senator from Texas?
I don't know.
The answer is George H.W. Bush.
Are you kidding?
Oh, that's what George H.W.
Talk about a comeback.
Yeah. beat Ralph Yarborough. I think then so Ralph Yarborough was in the primary against Bentsen, and that's right. So Bush lost to Bentsen in 1970. Bentsen was elected, and there you go. So it's fun little bit.
Because Bush was a congressman at the time, right? From Midland.
Exactly right. Exactly. He wanted to move up, but didn't make it. That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of running out and getting a whole bunch of Molly Ivins quotes for the election.
Oh, God, you ought to do a Molly. By the way, folks, this is Extreme Mortman, Howard Extreme Mortman, who's communications director for C-SPAN. And has his podcast Extreme Mortman, which every Thursday, if he shows up, we're going to talk about his Extreme Mortman, or we'll talk about it even if he doesn't show up. But
I will show up because
that's the short link I made for his podcast on C-SPAN there, trailmix.cc. I mean, I can't fit the C-SPAN link on here. It's so damn long. So I made the short link for you.
We use symbols from the periodic table. We throw that in there too. And by the way, the reason why I show up, Craig makes it so easy. He sends a car. So that's why I'm able to do the hit here. So it's nice. Craig, I'm in that small cold room on Nebraska Avenue. You remember that with the chatters?
Oh yeah,
the freezing room.
Now, let's just get a few minutes of Lloyd Bentsen because I love his voice. So I always loved his voice. Let's see.
Re-election to the United States Senate.
Fine, man. I love this man. Shut up, people. I want to hear him.
Conclusive. And I didn't want to wait a minute longer to thank the people of Texas for their wonderful and generous support and their commitment to me. I'd also like to make a comment about Mike Dukakis. He and I waged a campaign that's worthy of the American people.
Yeah, you just lost. But that was that was a great throwback, Howard. Throwback.
Yeah,
Thursday.
and also, by the way, later in the speech,
throwback.
Bentsen said that we never lied in this campaign, which is a little. I mean, there's you could spend hours on the 1980 presidential campaign why he would say we didn't lie. But one thing that struck me, I don't think he and JFK were really good friends, and even though he said that,
oh really?
Yeah, I think they actually hated each other, to be honest. But who am I to say? But they're both dead. We can't ask. But of course, he did say in the debate with Dan Quayle, he was about JFK. He was a friend of mine. But I don't think I think they actually really despised each other. But that's neither here nor there.
Hey, Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Hey,
Jack. It's Extreme Morton Thursday, and this is our new monk subscriber I've got on the screen here. This is a monk who started among our 10,000 subscribers. Now the other one that we got in the last 5, which is pretty cool, is and now I got to learn how to pronounce his name since he's
Ken
a
Zinger.
Yeah, Ken Zinger. Okay, like Zinger. Ken Zinger.
Yeah.
Okay. I've always stumbled on his name.
He's from Illinois.
He just subscribed.
And Craig, to be helpful, if you stumble over the first name, it's pronounced Adam. The first name. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
But there he is. He's in our list. Here he is on the list here. On the list there, Adam. Kinzinger,
I will be honest. He would be the only Republican I would ever vote for.
But I'm especially excited about also that we got Aloka the Peace Dog. Aloka the Peace Dog is also one of our subscribers. There.
One of my friends told me I need to make a YouTube of Winnie, a YouTube channel for Winnie, and just post Winnie videos. And yeah.
Oh, that's right, Howard. Is Katie's dog Winnie, 15-year-old dog? Is that right? 15?
Yeah, she'll be 15 in May.
She now does our election predictions, and so Katie set out a piece of paper with Crockett's name on it and a piece of paper with Tallarico's name on it, but she used the same treat, so it was a good control group, and so she had the same treat on each one, and that dog went straight to Tallarico without any hesitation. So that's punditry.
I put up a couple of Molly quotes.
Okay.
Now, Craig, we're all roughly the same age on this, so here's a reference. So if you think about it, Crockett loses to Tallarico, and in Miami Vice, Rico Tubbs was the partner of Sonny Crockett.
Oh,
So Tallarico Tubbs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and Tallarico Tubbs.
I have never been.
Jasmine, Sonny Crockett. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's do it.
All right, now we got the real business here before our working man has to leave us. Is Howard's new podcast as of today. I like this guy too, and I appreciate that and it's not just because he's got cancer and told us he's about to die. I mean, I think he's worth talking about anytime, even if he was going to live. But go ahead and tell us about what you did for this podcast.
Sure. The motivation here is, as you said, Craig, Ben Sasse, former Republican senator from Nebraska, and a very wise education. He was a university president and so on. I believe in Florida, your home state, Craig.
University of Florida.
University of Florida, that's right. And stage 4 pancreatic cancer just announced a couple of weeks ago. So it is terminal, and he. I was struck. I was curious, and this is. I had to be careful because I don't want to be morbid. I mean, this is obvious. I'm doing this because of the terminal nature of his cancer, but I did because he did appeal to many people who wanted to elevate debate in the Senate. And a lot of senators come and go, but they don't really have an intellectual impact or historical impact on the Senate. I thought Ben Sasse did, and I reached out to his office. Now he's not on the podcast, but through his aides. Ben Sasse told me through his communication guy, I said, I want to do a podcast. I'd love for him to be on. I understand if he can't, and it's not critical, but can you at least tell me what are Ben Sasse's favorite moments in the U.S. Senate speaking? And they came back with me and they said, here's a list. And I pulled clips from each of those moments. And for instance, what you see on the screen there, the picture of him is his maiden speech in 2015, which is fascinating because a lot of senators win and then they show up and they give a speech within weeks of getting sworn in. Ben Sasse waited a year before he gave his maiden speech because what he did, he went around to all the other senators and interviewed them and sat down and took notes and found out asked them what was working, what isn't working. These weren't partisan discussions, but these were kind of like the future of the Senate kind of discussions. How do we improve the place? And he gave a very thoughtful maiden speech. And then he also
let's play a couple minutes of it here because it's sort of timely because he talks right at the top here about the loss of power, the Senate giving up power to the executive. And what did they just do yesterday? They gave up even more power to the president on war powers. So he mentions that in
politics before, and I intentionally waited to speak here. I want to talk today about the historic purposes and uses of the Senate, about the decades-long decline of the legislature relative to the executive branch, and about what baby steps toward institutional recovery might look like. Before doing so, let me explain briefly why I chose to wait a year since Election Day before beginning to.
So, I mean, he was right at the top, focused on what's wrong with the Senate right now.
There's a
throwback. That's a throwback Thursday there for you.
Yeah, it's interesting because people who agree with Craig Crawford's view of the world that the Congress has really essentially, and this is not my view, obviously C-SPAN, but for that point of view that Congress has abdicated a lot or given up a lot of its, has become essentially a glorified human resources department of just approving appointments and jobs. You're right. I mean, what would Ben Sasse do? How would he vote on a war powers resolution, which would be fascinating because he probably supports what's happening in Iran, probably supports President Trump efforts, but was also, a throwback to the days when Congress had asserted its own constitutional role in declaring war. Craig, for you and your 10,008 followers, when was the last time the U.S. declared war? Or the Congress declared war. I'm sorry. When was the last time?
Well, you're probably not counting the authorization for Iraq that they passed, because that's correct.
Without counting the AMU.
It'd be December 9th, 1940. My memory's gone.
40. What was it?
42. It was 1942. Was the last time Congress officially.
That really was.
Yeah, that really was the last time Congress declared war.
This is Cheyenne, Wyoming calling it. Could that be Liz Cheney? Well, we know it's not Dick. It's not Dick.
Well, as John F. Kennedy would say, some ask Wyoming, others ask why not Oming. So 1942 was the last time Congress declared war.
That was the last time. Well, you got it, Jack.
Yeah, Jack totally got it. It's because you think about it, 54,000 people died in the Vietnam War, U.S. soldiers. I mean, and Congress did not declare that war. I mean, they had the Gulf of Tonkin, they had resolutions, but there has been no official. And the Korean War, we've had a lot of quote unquote, I don't know. Do you italicize the word war? Do you put it in quotes? But there's been a lot of U.S. fatalities and armed conflicts since then. So anyways, we're getting off track. Ben Sasse. So this podcast is devoted to hearing just some what he chose as his favorite moments, and also very important, Senate Judiciary Committee. He was on the panel that oversaw the nominations to the Supreme Court of Kavanaugh, of Amy Coney Barrett, of Gorsuch, and Ketanji Brown Jackson, President Biden's pick. And
his finest moment as senator was when he dumped a bottle of Dr. Pepper on Ted Cruz.
Yeah, so
now that was achievement. That was an achievement there.
It was a very heated exchange as then Attorney General Jeff Sessions was testifying on Russia in the 2016 election, and Senator Al Franken, Democrat of Minnesota, was really hammering Jeff Sessions and became very, very heated and dramatic in the committee room. And it was time for Ben Sasse to start questioning Jeff Sessions, but he began by toppling his Dr. Pepper into Ted Cruz's lap, and then had to apologize for that. Ted Cruz, to his credit, when Ted Cruz put on social media, my Heidi and I are saddened to hear of the cancer, he actually mentioned that Dr. Pepper episode when he tweeted that out. So, poignant.
He's got so Sasse has announced he's got advanced. Is it pancreatic cancer?
Stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and there's no
or the rough kinds.
Yeah, there's no coming back from this apparently.
I noticed how his statement. He says he did make it. He said in his statement, this is a death sentence, but we have to realize we all have a death sentence.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So I don't bring everybody down. It's worth listening. It's poignant. I don't want to say it's fun, but it's enlightening. And Craig, you're totally right. So much of this is why Craig Crawford and Craig's 10,008 followers love political history, because so much of what happens today, if it's not mirrored, at least there's a rhyme to what's already happened in the past. You can connect it all, and time becomes flat after a while. And it's fun. It's fun to dig through and relive some of this history. We talked about this last week with Jesse Jackson. This week, Ben Sasse. But I promise you, Craig, and your 10,008
followers.
Hey, followers, that next week's Extreme Mortman podcast, and I hope I have the honor and privilege to rejoin Jack and everybody and the monk, the peace monk, and everybody else, and Adam Kinzinger to talk about next week's, because next week's, Craig, is a lot of fun. It's a ball of laughs. It's going to be. I'll give you one hint in this podcast of what we're going to talk about that will surprise you, but I'll give you a hint. This podcast comes out merely 3 days. It comes out. The next one comes out on Thursday the 12th. And Craig, I know this is important in your household, but what happens on Sunday, March 15th?
That is the Ides of March.
The eyes, but
that's brilliant. That's not. Give me another answer. Give me the answer I'm looking for. I'm not looking for that answer.
What is that when March Madness starts? Or?
The Academy Awards.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
So,
Jamie's into that.
Yeah,
Jamie's our
politics
Academy
and-
Awards course.
Like
Oh,
politics,
there's
Academy
only
Awards.
one winner in that one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sinners.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, I got it. And I've got the link
And
here.
you know what?
For folks to go to Extreme Mortman there.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
Jack.
interesting about Sinners is every one of my young nieces and nephews, all you have to do is mention it, and they talk for 30 minutes about how great it is.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
It definitely is. It should walk off with everything.
Well, now,
just
Howard, before you go, Howard, I did want to play, because you had sent me this a long time ago, and you may not remember, but you brought us Ben Sasse's maiden voyage at the Senate. Well, here's my maiden voyage on C-SPAN. 19, I think it was 89. I don't know, maybe 90 something. Anyway, here it is.
It's time now for our journalists' roundtable discussion
about
of the
play
week's
on
major
music.
news headlines. For the next 90 minutes, we'll talk with J. Craig Crawford, national correspondent for the Orlando Sentinel. John.
That's when I was real fancy, and I put my initial in front of my name. I called myself K.
You felt fancy that
I thought that sounded more important. That sounded made me sound more
You sound like a New York Times
Harwood, congressional correspondent for the Wall Street Journal.
Well, and also it was gender non-specific, so then people couldn't figure out if I was a man or a woman, you know.
And Carl Cannon, who was White House correspondent for the Baltimore Sun. Of course, we invite your questions and comments during this segment. We will list our phone numbers shortly for you. We now bring you our journalists' roundtable.
Must have been.
Here's Brian. This is my first time with Brian. This is a great moment in my memory.
What's with the music? My goodness. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it just keeps going.
Craig Crawford, national correspondent for the Orlando Sentinel. What kind of a week was it?
Well, it was an interesting week in the Senate last night. I was up late watching it. Senator Byrd and his prowess with the Senate rules. I think we're seeing some fascinating intra-party squabbles within the Democratic Party, and it's kind of like, where are the Republicans?
John Harwood, how about your week?
Howard found that for me years ago.
Over in commenters, Eddie is noticing that we get distracted and important stories go away when we do.
Yeah,
the funny thing about that clip, Craig, I don't know if there's a bit of trivia. That was the last episode of C-SPAN's Washington Journal where we had a live piano player on set with the candelabra.
Wow.
He said,
like the old silent
said,
movies, you know.
He said to Liberace, we can't afford you anymore. So you just have to get out of here. So, yeah. All right, I got to go. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Craig Crawford
Howard,
day.
it's great to have you on again.
Right.
We'll see you
Bye,
next
Howard.
week. Now,
See you guys.
Can we get on
All right.
Trail Mix and recommend ideas for you? We'll do that going forward. So now Eddie, you griping about? What are you griping about? Why did we stop looking for and hearing about the Nancy Guthrie story? Oh, yeah, that's a good
Because
point.
it went on
They're
too
still
long
looking for
with
Nancy
no
Guthrie.
results.
They're still looking for her, but obviously it's more like body recovery than anything at this point.
Yeah, when they talk about
it's basically they've looked everywhere they can think to look, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, there's no new news, so
It's hard to talk about what's coming out of there when you don't know what's coming out of there because they don't talk about it on mainstream media really anymore.
And I mean, that's the way the news cycle works. Is
Yep.
if it's not today, it's what is it? The talk about the old newspapers that yesterday's news good for wrapping dead fish.
Yeah.
Or
Of
something
course,
like
the
that.
Epstein distraction war continues.
But I'm just thinking this, Craig, is I'm glad nobody recorded my opinions from 1990.
Well, the thing C-SPAN always did in those days, and I've got them. I've got a whole bunch of. I mean, I don't know how many, but it was kind of nice. Is when you'd go on C-SPAN, and as you left, you didn't have to wait. They would make you a little VHS of your appearance and hand it to you. And so I've got a bookcase full of them, and of course I don't even have a VHS player anymore. So I do have a converter. I guess I can convert them to digital, but I don't. That'd be a job. But yeah, that was my first time on with Brian Lamb, and I loved those. That was the morning roundtable, they called it, with journalists, and that was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'd have to get up. I always called it Brian Lamb's oral exam, because that man got up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and he read everything. And so the challenge of going on that round table for me always was I needed to have seen all the stories that I thought he would ask about. And I would get up early myself, go through everything. And every single time, though, he would always come up with one story that I hadn't seen, that I had not found. He always found one. It was a piece of work. Brian Lamb, great man.
Yeah, I couldn't do that one. You have to give me a little time to to read up.
Yeah.
In fact, I find it hard to make your 10 o'clock appointment. 11 o'clock your time.
Oh, that's right. It's 10 o'clock your time. Well, just to spice things up here's something that was that I caught. The Capitol Hill was hot yesterday. Katie and I were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
The attacks on Walz. But here, listen to this. I thought this was really over the top. This Democrat going after Kristi Noem.
Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Can you believe that? I mean,
and the best part, her husband was sitting right behind her.
Her husband was sitting right behind her?
Yes.
Oh,
yep.
My goodness. Well, watch her not answer the question. You want to hear the question again? Because who is this Congress? I don't reckon she's from California. Anybody ever heard of her? I've never seen her before.
I've seen her before a couple of times.
Anyway, here she goes. She goes right to it.
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
and
my
is an
time,
advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it is
decisions
also
and
a
putting
real
up your
question.
position. So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we
question
do in the Department of Homeland Security
clearly and without any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
if
this
someone
country
is
and
asking
to make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is
All
garbage.
it is not
yes
about
or no.
your sex
Offensive
life.
that you have
Yeah.
brought
It is
that up.
about your
No,
judgment.
that kind of garbage.
Because the answer is yes. That's why she's not
Yeah,
saying
I can hear myself.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know.
Well, she can't
it is about
even
your
do
judgment
the
and
indignant
decision making. It is about the 260,000 employees
right.
that work under
You know,
you.
how dare
I
you
want to make
ask
sure
that
that
question
you are
and
giving
respond?
information and making decisions clearly. It is about
I mean,
confidence.
instead of handling it, she just say
she's unqualified to be at her level.
Yeah, I think if the answer is yes, and you don't want to say it, and I can understand why, and Katie points out her husband's sitting right behind her. If the answer is yes, and you don't want to lie under oath, just say, I'm not answering that question.
Yeah.
It's an inappropriate question.
It's an inappropriate question. Move on, you know?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
instead,
and a little how dare you.
Nails her on
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, they nailed her on government contracts to a corporation that had only been in business for 8 days before they got $243 million of taxpayer money.
And it's registered to a house in Virginia.
It's a good job if you can get it, you know.
Well, here and then Raskin, he gets into real stuff, the important stuff here, as far as I'm concerned, is calling those people terrorists.
Good. And Alex Preddy, domestic terrorists.
As you know, there's ongoing investigations that are being led by the FBI.
But you didn't wait for the investigation, did you? You didn't wait for the evidence. You proclaimed that they were domestic terrorists at the time. Why did you do that?
And you didn't wait to attack our law enforcement.
Why did you do that?
Are going into a dangerous
Why did you call them domestic terrorists?
Our ICE officers and our HSI officers that day risked their lives to protect that scene. So evidence could be reclaimed. So it could be used in the investigation. Because those violent rioters that were
So you're
there
proud of the fact that you
They
called them
weren't
domestic terrorists?
violent.
Is that what you're telling
Oh
America?
my God.
HSI officers put their lives on the line to protect that scene, so evidence so we could have.
And there again, why not just say I was wrong? I jumped the gun. I shouldn't have said it. But they can't. These Trump cabinet people or anybody who works for, they can't do that, because if they acknowledge any mistakes or apologize or anything, then he calls them losers and they're out of his orbit. That he set the standard for that.
Just
with these folks.
I think the simple thing for her to say on that whole thing was, I was commenting on information I had received at the time.
Exactly. And is
Yeah,
it anybody who's an unruly protester?
And
a
it
terrorist?
stops the whole conversation.
And he was, I think, anticipating that response, and so the way Raskin framed it was, well, knowing now what you know now, would you agree that they are not terrorists? You know, and at that point, she's got to say, no, I don't think they were terrorists. But she wouldn't say that. She wouldn't go there. Yeah.
Hey, that's why I don't run in those circles. You know, I don't think that far ahead.
The chanting is getting me into a relaxed state.
Doesn't it? It works, doesn't it?
It does.
I've been into the whole monking thing. You know, I don't know how difficult, where you apply or anything, but I'd love to be a Buddhist for at least try it out somehow. I don't know. Do they have an apprentice program for it?
Maybe.
Well, I did look up. They meet not far from here, and actually the first apartment building David and I lived in Washington, they actually have their meetings, the closest one to me. And they have Zoom calls, so
you could just do a Zoom call.
I could do a Zoom call with the monks.
There you go. What other news? Oh, and then of course the vote. They're going to subpoena Pam Bondi.
Oh, I saw. Yeah.
Love that idea.
I know, that'll be interesting. She'll just do the same. She'll just be the same way that she was on talking about Homeland Security stuff and investigations.
I pulled something, Jack, that I got ready to go. I'll end it today with it, but I got. Here it is. Let's see.
Oh, the Marine that was protesting Palestine, and then his name is Brian McGinnis, Marine veteran who is protesting against Donald Trump's war with Iran, confirms that his arm was broken yesterday after being manhandled by Senator Tim Sheehy and Capitol Police.
What happened with that? I saw some video of that. Was that real? Was that as bad as it looked?
Real. It's bad. It's bad. So it's crazy.
Well, Jack, I went back and got this because I thought you were right. In these times, we need to get into it. I got what you wanted, and well, when we're done here, I'll play the rest of it.
I think you need to find her opening statement on the Nixon impeachment. Talking about Texas politicians, I saw a great documentary on PBS last night about Barbara Jordan.
Oh, really?
I recognize the gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Jordan, for the purpose of general debate, not to exceed a period of 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Jordan.
Mr. Chairman,
So when we're done, I'll play that at the end of the show.
All right.
Also in British
Because it's like 13. It's like 13 minutes long, so we'll just wind up the show with that.
British
That
news
is a remarkable lady.
Yeah.
Buckingham Palace removed the portrait of Donald Trump.
Oh, cool.
Yep, because of his latest remarks about the United Kingdom. So they took down his picture.
Winter says, and the monk dog gets the zombies when you do the Zoom call.
There
Gets the zoomies when you get the Zoom call. Yeah.
Hi, Wonderland. You haven't been in until now.
I think Winter showed up earlier before you were here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was late arrival this morning.
Yeah, you missed roll call.
I put up the article about the Marine with a broken arm on Trail Mix.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, remind people that.
Along with your Tchaikovsky for the next time you want to pontificate.
Depending on if I can see or not, I will be going to the Ice Out fundraiser protest with the Dropkick Murphys tomorrow.
Oh, that's
depending on if I can see by then, because I go to the eye doctor today to get a new exam and stuff. But I don't know if I told y'all, but I ran over my glasses the other day. So
I sat on mine once. Because Jack, you brought up Dropkick Murphys at one point.
Yep.
Earlier. Who are they?
Oh, Dropkick Murphy?
Yep. They are.
They're Irish.
They're a band from Boston, and they're
rock and roll Irish band.
Huh.
And they are very, very progressive and hate everything Trump.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they get to be old men. They used to be young.
But
I saw one of the recent videos where they did a video. They did worked with some Ukrainian singers with on a song.
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing protest music, and I guess they were doing it in Minnesota. They had a regular concert, and they did something extra out there in a parking lot as a protest there in Minnesota.
Well, that's our hour. And I'm going to wrap up with 10 minutes of Barbara Jordan.
All right, you all have a great day. I gotta run anyway. So see y'all tomorrow.
Good luck with the eyes.
All right, bye.
All right, and it's happy 10,000 subscribers. I forgot. That's how come I got my beads on. I got my Barty beads on for 10,000 subscribers. Now here comes Barbara Jordan. We're going to have some Barbara Jordan. You can't get enough Barbara Jordan. Here she is at the impeachment House Judiciary in 1974 when they impeached Richard Nixon. I think about 3 weeks later is when he resigned after this.
Yep.
Join my colleague, Mr. Rangel, in thanking you for giving the junior members of this committee the glorious opportunity of sharing the pain of this inquiry. Mr. Chairman, you are a strong man, and it has not been easy. But we have tried as best we can to give you as much assistance as possible. Earlier today, we heard the beginning of the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We the people. It's a very eloquent beginning. But when that document was completed on the 17th of September in 1787, I was not included in that We the People. I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in We the People. Today I am an inquisitor, and hyperbole would not be fictional and would not overstate the solemnness that I feel right now. My faith in the Constitution is whole, it is complete, it is total. And I am not going to sit here and be an idle spectator to the diminution, the subversion, the destruction of the Constitution. Who can so properly be the inquisitors for the nation as the representatives of the nation themselves? The subjects of its jurisdiction are those offenses which proceed from the misconduct of public men. And that's what we're talking about. In other words, from the abuse or violation of some public trust. It is wrong, I suggest, it is a misreading of the Constitution for any member here to assert that for a member to vote for an article of impeachment means that that member must be convinced that the president should be removed from office. The Constitution doesn't say that. The powers relating to impeachment are an essential check in the hands of the body, the legislature, against and upon the encroachments of the executive. The division between the two branches of the legislature, the House and the Senate, assigning to the one the right to accuse and to the other the right to judge. The framers of this Constitution were very astute. They did not make the accusers and the judges the same person. We know the nature of impeachment. We've been talking about it a while now. It is chiefly designed for the president and his high ministers to somehow be called into account. It is designed to bridle the executive if he engages in excesses. It is designed as a method of national inquest into the conduct of public men. The framers confided in the Congress the power, if need be, to remove the president in order to strike a delicate balance between a president swollen with power and grown tyrannical and preservation of the independence of the executive. The nature of impeachment, a narrowly channeled exception to the separation of powers maxim. The Federal Convention of 1787 said that. It limited impeachment to high crimes and misdemeanors and discounted and opposed the term maladministration. It is to be used only for great misdemeanors, so it was said in the North Carolina Ratification Convention. And in the Virginia Ratification Convention, we do not trust our liberty to a particular branch. We need one branch to check the other. No one need be afraid. The North Carolina Ratification Convention, no one need be afraid that officers who commit oppression will pass with immunity. Prosecutions of impeachments will seldom fail to agitate the passions of the whole community, said Hamilton in the Federalist Papers number 65. We divide into parties, more or less friendly or inimical to the accused. I do not mean political parties in that sense. The drawing of political lines goes to the motivation behind impeachment. But impeachment must proceed within the confines of the constitutional term, high crime and misdemeanors. Of the impeachment process, it was Woodrow Wilson who said that nothing short of the grossest offenses against the plain law of the land will suffice to give them speed and effectiveness. Indignation so great as to overgrow party interest may secure a conviction, but nothing else can. common sense would be revolted if we engaged upon this process for petty reasons. Congress has a lot to do. Appropriations, tax reform, health insurance, campaign finance reform, housing, environmental protection, energy sufficiency, mass transportation. Pettiness cannot be allowed to stand in the face of such overwhelming problems. So today we're not being petty. We're trying to be big because the task we have before us is a big one. This morning, in a discussion of the evidence, we're told that the evidence which purports to support the allegations of misuse of the CIA by the president is thin. We're told that that evidence is insufficient. What that recital of the evidence this morning did not include is what the president did know on June the 23rd, 1972. The president did know that it was Republican money, that it was money from the Committee for the Re-election of the President, which was found in the possession of one of the burglars arrested on June the 17th. What the president did know on the 23rd of June was the prior activities of E. Howard Hunt, which included his participation in the break-in of Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist, which included Howard Hunt's participation in the Dita Beard ITT affair, which included Howard Hunt's fabrication of cables designed to discredit the Kennedy administration. We were further cautioned today that perhaps these proceedings ought to be delayed because certainly there would be new evidence forthcoming from the President of the United States. There has not even been an obfuscated indication that this committee would receive any additional materials from the president. The committee subpoena is outstanding, and if the president wants to supply that material, the committee sits here. The fact is that on yesterday, the American people waited with great anxiety for 8 hours, not knowing whether their president would obey an order of the Supreme Court of the United States. At this point, I would like to juxtapose a few of the impeachment criteria with some of the actions the president has engaged in. Impeachment criteria. James Madison, from the Virginia Ratification Convention. If the president be connected in any suspicious manner with any person and there be grounds to believe that he will shelter him, he may be impeached. We have heard time and time again that the evidence reflects the payment to defendants, money. The president had knowledge that these funds were being paid, and these were funds collected for the 1972 presidential campaign. We know that the president met with Mr. Henry Peterson 27 times to discuss matters related to Watergate, and immediately thereafter met with the very persons who were implicated in the information Mr. Peterson was receiving. The words are, if the president is connected in any suspicious manner with any person, and there be grounds to believe that he will shelter that person, he may be impeached. Just a story. Impeachment is intended for occasional and extraordinary cases where a superior power acting for the whole people is put into operation to protect their rights and rescue their liberties from violations. We know about the Houston plan. We know about the break-in of the psychiatrist's office. We know that there was absolute, complete direction on September 3rd when the president indicated that a surreptitious entry had been made in Dr. Fielding's office after having met with Mr. Ehrlichman and Mr. Young. Protect their rights, rescue their liberties from violation. The Carolina Ratification Convention impeachment criteria. Those are impeachable who behave amiss or betray their public trust. Beginning shortly after the Watergate break-in and continuing to the present time, the president has engaged in a series of public statements and actions designed to thwart the lawful investigation by government prosecutors. Moreover, the president has made public announcements and assertions bearing on the Watergate case, which the evidence will show he knew to be false. These assertions, false assertions, impeachable those who misbehave, those who behave amiss or betray the public trust. James Madison again at the Constitutional Convention. A president is impeachable if he attempts to subvert the Constitution. The Constitution charges the president with the task of taking care that the laws be faithfully executed. And yet, the president has counseled his aides to commit perjury, willfully disregard the secrecy of grand jury proceedings, conceal surreptitious entry, attempt to compromise a federal judge, while publicly displaying his cooperation with the processes of criminal justice. A president is impeachable if he attempts to subvert the Constitution. If the impeachment provision in the Constitution of the United States will not reach the offenses charged here, then perhaps that 18th century Constitution should be abandoned to a 20th century paper shredder.